What are animals? Where do they come from? Do animals have souls? Hi, I'm Wilhelm. I'm happy you could join me. All these questions and much more we will explore together in this new video of the Life Explained series.
What I'm about to share is something that you may have never heard before, because the spiritual laws are different than the human concepts. To find the origin of animals, we have to go back to our spiritual home, the pure heavens, where the process of creation started. God is eternal all-being. God is Father, Mother, and Creator of all life forms. And love is the creative power that brings forth the pure life, the spiritual forms. Every life form that gradually develops into a nature's being starts its journey of becoming as one of the spiritual atoms, stimulated, or we can also say fertilized, by the Creator God in a spiritual particle. All predispositions for becoming a spirit being are already contained in this atom, just like this acorn here. It contains the potential of a fully developed giant oak tree. Through the constant breathing in and out of the Creator God, further spiritual particles are created, which take their places in collectives. Out of these, the spiritual body then evolves very gradually. At first, these particles create collectives of the mineral kingdom, where they become ethereal rocks, stones, crystals. Each of these collectives have a collective soul or a group soul with consciousness. Time in the absolute reality does not exist as we know it. Events happen in huge cycle of light that we call eons. When these spiritual particles have gone through the various minerals, they transition into the lower species of the plant kingdom. Here again, we have collective souls of the various species of plants. But these souls now have a more evolved and increased consciousness. So the next major step of evolution is into the animal kingdom. Again, it begins with the lower animals which live in collectives like insects, fish, and slowly move up to more and more advanced and complex animal forms. These more advanced animals no longer have a collective soul, but a part soul. Their senses are sharply developed, and their consciousness varies from species to species. Surprisingly, some are more evolved and intelligent than many human beings, like in the case of the whales and dolphins. In addition, the diversity of animals in this realm is much greater than the limited number of species of animals we know here on Earth. So the next evolutionary step is the kingdom of the nature spirits. Some call it the Devic kingdom. These nature spirits are the caretaker of all the lower life forms, like the animals, plants, and minerals. They guide, protect, and nurture. They are the gnomes, the fairies, the devas, and so on. Their expression of love is the service to others. Thus, their consciousness is developed further. Once this part soul has grown through the experience of various nature spirits, it finally can be attracted to a couple of fully evolved spiritual beings. It now becomes a pure spiritual being, a son or a daughter of God, a beautiful, perfect being of eternal youth and vastly expanded consciousness, as it can communicate with all other life forms, because it carries their essence in them by having once been all of them. Furthermore, these spiritual beings now have God's greatest gift, a fully developed free will. Now look at this amazing cycle that consists of the joy to serve. The highest evolved beings are serving the lower life forms, as the lower life forms serve the higher life forms. This is a cycle of love and service. Can we now see that all these life forms, particularly the animals, are in actuality our little brothers and sisters on their way of also becoming perfect spiritual beings? This whole evolution that takes place is a gentle progress from one level to the next. There is no such thing as the brutality that Darwin offers in his theory of natural selection. And the creationists don't have it right either. It didn't happen in 6 days or a few thousand years ago, and it also didn't happen here on Earth. Animals never evolved here on Earth, but they merely adapt, just like humans adapt to living in extreme climate zones or in high altitude. Naturally, here in the pure heavens, all these life forms of the animal kingdom have an ethereal body without digestive organs, because they are continuously animated by the streaming life or love stream of God. Although we speak of ethereal bodies, it helps to remember that the spiritual realms are more real, more vivid than our material world. Our material world is only a pale reflection of the real universe of the eternal being. The absolute world where everything is self-luminous, because the eternal light radiates through all suns and planets, all spirit beings, animals, plants, and minerals. Now, eons and eons ago, a very small group of these perfect spiritual beings separated themselves from the pure ethereal heavens, from love, and burdened themselves through their selfishness. We call this event the fall. They fell into many levels of the fall spheres, which are outside of the pure heavens. One of them being our material universe with planet Earth, right down here. Now, you and I are most likely part of that small group, but God is love and always cares for His children. Out of pure love, many of the ethereal life forms of these kingdoms in the pure heavens also joined these fallen spiritual beings into the many worlds of the fall regions. Some of them incarnated here on earth to help us find our way back home to God. This is a total act of selfless love by these ethereal life forms. Humans cannot exist here without the assistance and companionship of the mineral, plant, and animal kingdoms. We couldn't breathe the air without the help of the trees. Or, as Einstein pointed out, we would die out within 4 years if the bees would disappear. Animals can live without us, but we cannot live without animals. To survive here in this very dense material vibration of Earth, these ethereal spiritual beings, who we now call human beings, over time developed a special space suit, which we call our physical body. By then, their access to the divine love stream was so weak that they had to find other sources of energy for sustenance. We call it food. But what kind of food? Right in the beginning, in Genesis, God said, "See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." Vegan is the ideal diet for all humans, according to the will of God. But over time, humans became more and more brutish. Their desires and lust and cravings grew. And they no longer saw the animals as their younger brothers and sisters, but made them their slaves, and they began to kill and eat them. But this was totally against the law of life, and the law of love, and the will of God. God even said, "Whoever slaughters an ox is like one who kills a human being." Christ, of course, did not eat animal flesh, and neither did his disciples. Christ clearly expressed it in these words, "Verily I say to you, I am come into the world to put an end to all blood offerings, and to the eating of the flesh of animals and birds that are slain by men." We know that the early Christians were vegetarians, much to the disdain of the leaders of the church authorities, who had gotten addicted to eating animal body parts. Emperor Constantine I, in the 3rd century, even gave orders to pour melted lead down the throat of all those Christians who did not want to eat meat. And this continued into the Middle Ages, during the time of the Inquisition. Christians who refused to kill animals were forced to either publicly slaughter an animal or be hanged as a heretic. There were many famous Christian groups, like the Bogomils, the Cathars, and the Albigenses, who all lived a vegetarian or vegan life. Naturally, they were all cruelly exterminated by the church organization. But not only early Christians knew that killing or even mistreating an animal was wrong. Lao Tzu said, We go to people, to plants, and to animals, chase neither man nor animal, nor cause them suffering. Pythagoras spoke of the karma that we accumulate when killing animals. Everything that humans do to the animals comes back to them. The Prophet Muhammad said, "An act of cruelty to an animal is as bad as an act of cruelty to a human being." Leonardo da Vinci, "The time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look upon the murder of men." Mahatma Gandhi, "To my mind, the life of a lamb is no less precious than that of a human being." Leo Tolstoy, "From the murder of animals to the murder of humans is only a small step." So the question is, why are we still eating our little brothers and sisters, the animals? Or better, why do we love one kind of animals, like dogs and cats, and eat the other, like cows, pigs, bunnies, and chicken? As I said earlier, the animals have come to join us here on earth to help us and to support us. But in return, we are mistreating, killing, poisoning, and even eat them. We use them in scientific tests as entertainment, lock them into zoos, and steal and poison their habitat. In the absolute reality, animals do not eat other animals. But here on Earth, some animals have become predators. Why is it so? The reason is obvious, because we are. The constant negativity created by humans have influenced and changed the animal DNA and behavior over time. But as we evolve and stop eating meat and killing each other, the animals, too, will also return to their natural and more divine way of life. Many people are surprised to learn that all animals have emotions and intelligence, and many species are family-oriented. They love and care for their youngsters and mourn the loss of a family member or a dear friend, just like we do. The animals have a very noble and fine characters which corresponds with their respective state of consciousness. You can tell this is true by looking an animal in the eyes. Animals cannot create karma because they don't have a fully developed free will. But man does, and therefore man reaps what he has sown. A typical karma is an illness. It is a scientific fact that a meat diet is the leading cause of many illnesses and death. Ever wondered where the longest living people in the United States live? It is a small town called Loma Linda in California, where about 9,000 Seventh-day Adventists live. I can't tell you much about their belief, but fact is that they are all vegetarians. No coincidence that they are noticeably the longest living and healthiest American. If you wish to know more about the scientific research on the subject, you may enjoy this jaw-dropping, amazing video called What the Health. I strongly recommend it as it helped me personally to make long overdue dietary changes.
I know changing my diet was not easy. And the spiritual world warns us not to change our eating habits drastically or overnight. Most likely we have been hunters and meat eaters in many previous incarnations, and that pattern is now in our genes. The ideal way is always through personal spiritual developments, when our senses, our feelings and our thoughts become more attuned and more refined. And finally, for all those pet lovers out there, yes, the love that you have shared with your pet will connect you with them in the afterlife. You will most likely see them again waiting for you. I hope you found this video interesting. Thank you for watching.